So early on, I realized that as I was building this email list, as I was building this following, that I was also building a platform that I could use to help people in need, that I could use to help nonprofits. And so this started out, I think it was like 2002 or so. There was a woman in need that we knew. She had a single mom of 6 kids going through some cancer, raised $30,000 in a teleseminar to help her out with the cancer treatments. And that was really cool. And then when I started teaching about marketing, I realized I had an even bigger platform, and I was leading leaders. Those are the people in my community. Many of them were leaders, and that could have this amplified effect on my fundraising. So I think it was in 2005, right after that very first product launch formula, where I did my first fundraiser. It was for Stu and Amy McLaren, and they were just had this initiative to get school supplies for some kids down in South America who had nothing, and that was really, really cool. And then I started doing live events, and the live events gave me the perfect venue for fundraising, because it's just when you get everyone together in this community atmosphere, it's just a natural for fundraising. So right from the very beginning in our live events, we started raising money for nonprofits, and for years we supported Kiva.org, the micro lending organization. They do amazing work, and we generated tens of thousands of dollars. And then I was sharing this with my friend Lisa Sasevich, who does a ton of fundraising at her events, and she shared some of her techniques and and what she does. And we took it to the whole next level with PLF Live, and then we started raising tens of thousands of dollars at every event. And then a couple of years ago, we really put it together, and that's when we circled back to Stu and Amy McLaren. And by now, they had advanced their nonprofit so much that they were actually building entire schools in Kenya for people who've been displaced through political violence. And so and they're just a perfect match for our community, just for lots of reasons I can't go into right now, but it's just a perfect match. And since then, it's been 18 months we've been raising money for, it's World Teacher Aid is their nonprofit, and we've raised enough money to build 4 schools in Kenya. That's $125,000 per school. So it's $500,000 we've raised for World Teacher Aid. We built 4 schools. Now these schools are big schools. They got 8 classrooms each. They teach 500 kids in them. So 500 kids per year are going through this school. So that means we've now raised enough money to build 4 schools. 2 of them are done. Two of them are in progress. And the really cool thing there is in Kenya, once you build a school, the government will support the school with teachers after we build them. So it's really cool. So that's, if you do the math, 500 kids per school, 4 schools, that's 2,000 kids are going to school every year because of my community, my PLF community, my online community, my tribe. And I've been able to sort of catalyze them and yeah, it's 2,000 kids per year, but it gets better than that because because I've got so many leaders that I'm leading, that I'm teaching, I've inspired 4 other people to go and raise enough money for an entire school for World Teacher Aid. So if you do the math, that's 8 schools, 4 I've funded or my community's funded directly, and 4 that I've inspired other people to go raise that money for World Teacher Aid. So now we're up to 8 schools, depending on how you count. I'll count those extra 4 schools. I'll count it as 8 schools that have been a direct influence from, I guess, my leadership, if I want to really pat myself on the back. That's 8 schools. That's 4,000 kids per year. These schools are really well built. They're not just some, mud thatched things thrown together. They're really well built. They're going to be around for at least 20 years, probably far longer. 4,000 kids per school started with this thought that I've got this tribe that I could use to raise money. And that started with this thought that I could start publishing 20 years ago. It's absolutely amazing. And then last summer I took it to the next level, and that's when my wife and I went with Stu and Amy and some other donors. We went to Africa for the grand opening of that first school we built last August, and that was the most amazing, heart-opening experience I've ever had, to be on the ground. It's one thing to write a check and send that check over, but then when you're actually there, it just changes everything. It changes everything. Have these kids, these beautiful little kids coming up, and their parents so grateful to have that school. They've been displaced through political violence. They had nothing. Many of the kids were not going to school. Many of them had to walk 8 kilometers each way to school, and all of a sudden now they've got this great new facility that we had built for them. It was just unbelievable. And it just, when you go from that writing the check to actually being on the ground and seeing that impact, it's just incredible. And then you start to realize that the more you build your business, the bigger impact the more you build your business, the more you can give, the more you can create a positive impact. And it's just been absolutely this incredible journey. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs go through this, where they start off and they're just like I was. They're desperate for a change, desperate to support their family, just trying to make 2 ends meet. And then as they grow, things change, and all of a sudden they realize this impact they can have. And here I've got 8 schools that are if I hadn't sent out that first email in 1996, those 8 schools wouldn't have been built. They wouldn't have existed. And it's just breathtaking to be in this spot. So now I just share this with you. We're on day 29 of this 30-day journey. And I just want to share this with you to show you where things can go and inspire you. If you already have a successful business, inspire you how you can take it to the next level of meaning. Because the more you grow and the more your business grows, the more money you make, the more impact you can have. And it's just an absolutely beautiful thing. So yeah, we're celebrating. I'm Jeff Walker. We're celebrating my 20 years in business online with 30 days of videos. Today's 29. Tomorrow it's going to be a celebration. But here on day 29, I just want to inspire you with what is possible, because I sent that first email back in 1996, and it's built into this. I never could have seen this coming, but it's just unbelievable. So scroll down, leave a comment for me. If this is something you think could inspire someone to maybe grow bigger, build bigger, give more, contribute more, go ahead and share it with them, and let's go get them this week.